Steve knew. Actually, Steve is the architect of Dad's death, and all because of his envy and the longing to find Kid's treasure. To think they were so close, almost brothers. Dad really trusted him, but he...
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Hello and welcome back to Arcanum Gaming. My name is Richie. Today we're back with Willy Morgan and the Curse of Bone Town, and what I think may be the last episode. Not entirely sure yet, but we are very close to finishing the map. We're just missing the last piece.
A rope is always useful.
We had just come up into this secret office. I think it was hidden upstairs, and I don't remember which piece of the map was the last one. I think it might have been Avery's. Yeah, so I had stopped last time just before exploring this area, so I guess we're going to do that today and hopefully wrap the game up today.
There's nothing useful here. It seems Steve is doing some research into the adventure Galley, Kid's ship. There are maps, notes, excerpts from old journals and books.
Okay, so we got a rope. Nothing on the bookshelf. There's a window.
Better let some fresh air in.
Okay.
I don't want to take all of this with me. There are maps, routes, various notes. They represent months, or rather years, of uninterrupted work.
How do you know it's uninterrupted?
I thought it worked the same as the one in Steve's office. Instead, this is just a simple globe. There must be another way to get out of here. And what's this? It looks like some sort of diary. There's something inside. I don't think I'm mistaken. This is a piece of the map from Kid's crew. It's surely Avery's, the last piece missing. Finally, the map is complete. On this piece, there are some coordinates. 47 degrees north by 78 degrees east. Brilliant! The coordinates are useless without the rest of the map. The light will guide you. 47 degrees north by 78 degrees east. It must have something to do with the old lighthouse. There's also a strange coin. Why is it here? What does Steve have to do with this story? There must be something I'm still missing.
Interesting.
Let's see if there's an explanation in the diary.
Okay. Cursive. Henry came back to Bone Town. He seemed like a kid on Christmas Eve. He said he has big news he wants to share with me. This was July 4th, 2008. Okay. Hard to believe Henry achieved his feat. Finally found proof that the kid treasure we always dreamed of since we were kids really exists. Henry revealed something more. One of the members of the crew appears to have been a certain Chris Avery. According to Henry's research, Avery, after retiring from the pirate life, moved here to Bone Town. I have to stop by the old drugstore. Avery's still living. The only Avery's still living here in Bone Town. Maybe they have something and I might be able to give Henry a hand in his research. Stroke of luck, I asked Fred for permission to rummage through his old things in the basement. After a few hours, I happened to find what looked like an old piece of a map, some coordinates, and a coin. That's where we got the north, 47 north, 78 east. The coordinates point to the outskirts of Bone Town. In exchange, Fred wanted the property of the building for walls for a priceless treasure. Seems like a fair exchange to me. Probably the building. Okay, I revealed to Henry that I found the coordinates of the treasure. He seemed very hesitant in his opinion. couldn't be so easy. Knowing kids' ingenuity. I can't read what that says. Doesn't matter. I finally have the opportunity to make a fortune. Write my name in history. Tomorrow I will tell Henry I'm going to start digging as soon as possible. Oh, this is going on for a while. I think Henry's going mad. He confided to me that he wants to go public with the news of finding Kid's map. I can't let him do that. Not now that I'm so close to the treasure. I know what Henry has in mind. He's jealous of my discovery, and as always, he wants the full honor for himself. I'll try to talk to him again to convince him his behavior toward me is changing. Seem increasingly taciturn. Doesn't have my ideas. Doesn't share my ideas on how to use the treasure. It'd be good if someone checked on him down at the old inn. I'll make sure Bob and Jack keep an eye on him until he's here in Bone Town. Yesterday I went with Henry to the old cliff near the lighthouse. I asked him what happened to the piece of map he found. He told me he put it in a safe place after his obstinate refusal to cooperate with the research and excavations. I understood that he wanted the treasure all for himself. Then rage took over. I attacked him, and during the fight he fell off the cliff and never resurfaced. I never wanted this to happen. Henry, for once you just had to give space to me in my dreams. Still no trace of Henry's body. For the moment, it's better to keep a low profile to avoid suspicion. Elizabeth is heartbroken, and little Willy probably still hasn't realized what happened. Better this way. Last page. After 2 months, I decided the time has come to get back to work. The shock of Henry's disappearance seems to be waning. Nothing yet. It's been months since I started digging around Bone Town, but there's no trace of the treasure. Impossible. The coordinates are right. I had to resort to city funds to finance the digs I'm doing now. I know there are only a few places left to dig. We have to be careful. Some of the locals have noticed the excavations. I had to lie. I assured them the digs are due to the work of some unauthorized company. I have to tell the others to be even more sensitive. 2017. Okay. Even Bone Town's funds are about to run out, and on top of that, it seems our last dig rerouted the vein of water that fed the torrent which serves the city. The what? Torrent? Okay. It doesn't matter. It's a necessary sacrifice for the common good. I promise to devote part of the treasure to helping the city rise again from the ashes. In the meantime, I'll try to limit the damage with some makeshift solutions. None of these have the slightest clue of how to run a town hall, so if I'm careful, I can still spend the last remaining funds. My goodness, that was hard to read.
I can't believe this. Steve knew. Actually, Steve is the architect of Dad's death, and all because of his envy and the longing to find Kid's treasure. To think they were so close, almost brothers. Dad really trusted him, but he should have guessed his changing, and Kid wasn't that stupid. All the pieces of the map are needed to find the treasure. I have to escape from here and unmask Steve. This diary will be the proof. Better go to the old lighthouse. The light will guide you. Let's hope that's true.
Boss. Hey, boss.
What's going on?
Boss, we can't find the young Morgan anywhere. Impossible. He can't be volatilized. Continue to search. If he has his father's insight, he has surely discovered something that we've been missing till now. I'm going back to my office. This city needs a person able to guide it. All right, let's go.
It's Steve and the innkeeper. They're in collusion. I have to get out of here as soon as possible. I'd rather leave this open. It has lots... It has... Good idea. This seems to be the only possible way out. See you soon, Steve.
All right then. Let me look at the
Finally,
map.
the map is complete. There's also the signature of the cartographer. He really was a genius of cartographic drawings. Now I know why Steve wasn't able to find the treasure. Without the complete map, those coordinates are useless. I need to go to the lighthouse. The light will guide you. 47 degrees north.
Okay, lighthouse.
Now I know how... Okay, let's try.
Okay, so where is 40... This is 47 north, I guess? Okay, and then we need 78 east, which is going to be over here.
Bingo! This is the point marked on the map. Let's see in what direction the lighthouse is pointing. Good!
It was in the tomb, or the
Very
crypt.
well. The lighthouse is positioned according to the instructions on the map. The light points in the direction of the cemetery. Better go check.
I knew that was going to come up at some point. Alright, here we are.
I don't think the X meant to indicate these wooden boards. It'd be better to remove them.
A skull.
Once there was a legend. To access the afterlife, a boat toll was required.
The coin.
Maybe this coin wasn't used as currency in the earthly world, but rather to pay the ferryman for a journey to the afterlife. Let's try. Where did I end up? It seems like a natural cave.
Okay. So we're in some kind of a cave. There's nothing really to interact with here.
I can't believe it. This is a colony of Mexican psilocybe, one of the most powerful hallucinogenic mushrooms in the world. Professor Jones showed one of these in class when explaining Aztec rituals. Their sour odor is unmistakable, and the conditions for growth seem to be ideal. Humid and lacking sun. Only a strong adrenaline rush can counteract their effect. They're supposed to proliferate only in a few areas in Central America. How did they end up here? I'm also wondering who put these wood barrels here. I'd rather not touch them. This species of mushroom is extremely dangerous. The Mexican psilocybe, even if taken in small doses, causes it.
Psilocybin mushrooms, huh? Do we need to interact with them in some way?
It has lots of... I think that... I don't need it. I don't think...
That was far too long of an explanation to just walk past that. There's no doubt that's going to come up at some point. Or it's just a complete red herring. I don't know. Because we'll see.
It can't be.
A
The
pirate
hull
ship.
outline. The colors on the bulkheads. A red nightmare sailed on the sea. Its slender shape induced all to stop and admire it. The historian Jean de Leon described the adventure galley this way. This is it. The adventure galley. Kid's ship.
No kidding. So we got a ladder.
The famous Adventure Galley. Rumors say that Kid launched raids in all the seas and that the Adventure Galley was the richest pirate ship around.
So how
The
did it
famous
get in
Adventure
here?
Galley. Rumor.
Who dares?
But, who said that?
Who dares board my ship without permission?
Who's talking?
our
Are
father?
you a ghost? Show yourself.
How dare you give orders to me? Only I can give orders.
It can't be. I can't believe this. My God. Dad? Dad, is that really you?
I have no sons. I'm the Adventure Galley's captain. My name is only whispered in both the old and new worlds. Some people call me the Scourge of the Seas. I'm William Kidd. Who are you?
Maybe he's been eating too many mushrooms.
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Willy.
What tone is this? Boy, remember who you're talking to. I'm Kidd.
What happened to you? You're not Kid. You're Henry. Henry Morgan.
Don't you ever mention that name in my presence. Morgan and Blackbeard are the reason my crew and I are here. If it wasn't for their betrayal, right now we'd be the masters of Tortuga. Instead, Morgan and Blackbeard mutinied, hired their own crew and attacked us. But nobody can take possession of William Kidd's treasure. Remember well these two names, because they're the worst enemies of Kidd's crew. Morgan and Blackbeard. What I wouldn't give to meet you face to face. And now, speak plainly. For what reason are you here?
I sell cookware, mattresses, and bikes. Isn't this the way to the rotten teeth? Dad, wake up. Captain, I'm the new deckhand you were waiting for.
Captain, I'm the new deckhand you were waiting for.
It's about time. You have permission to board and immediately get to work. The bridge needs a clean sweep. Ask the quartermaster to give you everything you need to make the ship shine. I'm going back to my cabin now. I have to plot the route for our next destination. Tortuga is waiting for us.
What's happening here? How could Dad still be alive? Why doesn't he recognize me? I better get on the galley right now. I have to get my dad back home.
Alright, he's either on too many mushrooms.
The ship is completely deserted. I guess Dad, or Kid as he now considers himself, is in his cabin to the stern of the ship.
He must have hit his head when he fell. Somehow washed up down here. Got amnesia?
It's a cannon from the 17th century. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't use it. It hasn't got a wick.
A candle wick. Okay.
It's a cannon from the...
I feel like we might need to use that. What else is there here to interact with? Got another cannon on the other side.
I don't want to shoot a cannon.
Let's go down to the hold first.
According to a chronicle of the period, these wooden mannequins were used to make the crew size appear larger. The fear factor and the number of armed men visible was usually enough to win a battle without even fighting. Somebody carved the name they gave to this mannequin in the wood. Jimbo.
We just picked up a whole mannequin. Okay. Got another cannon.
It would be better to use the... Better not. The ship is docked on this side. There's a risk that the shot could ricochet and cause damage.
We can go further down. Ooh, a sword.
This old sword could come in handy. Maybe I can learn how to handle it. If I'm not mistaken, near my house they just opened a school. The Swordmaster. That should guarantee success. Yuck. The hilt is all sticky. Time must have corroded the handle's material.
It's another
This
cannon.
cannon is ready to shoot. I should have a valid reason to do that. I should have a very... It's one of... You can tell every notch shows a battle in which it was shot. 8 notches, so 8 battles. An interesting tidbit of information. I guess it's still armed and ready to fire.
Okay.
It's locked. If, as I suppose, this is the door to the hold, they have surely reinforced it. I obviously need the key to enter. I could ask the captain if he knows where I can find it. It has lots of use.
Okay. So we've got a cannon that's ready to shoot. We can go back out. What are we going to use the mannequin for?
Not here. A real sea dog would have never sat on one of the cannons turned to port. They were extremely superstitious. They thought that turning their back to the mainland was a sign of contempt, and that they would have been punished by the sea.
Okay. How about the other side then?
This old mannequin was used to deceive the enemy. The more mannequins there were, the larger and more dangerous the crew seemed. I could use it to distract my dad and enter his cabin. If I could disguise it as a pirate, I could make it pass for one of Kid's most bitter enemies. If I'm not mistaken, he named Morgan and Blackbeard earlier. I really see it as a Morgan. Let's try to make it meaner. Discreetly threatening.
Interesting.
Some well-preserved clothes. An old three-cornered hat. I think it belonged to some captain, or someone from the upper class anyway. It doesn't strike me as the best time to start reading treatises on 17th century fashion. It looks like a voodoo doll. Some prankster guest of Kid must have left it here after his stay. Better not touch it. I wouldn't want its curse to remain active on some descendant of the represented person.
Got another achievement for something. There's something here on the floor too.
Dad is seated at the captain's desk. There's a strange smell coming from the cabin.
Smell like the mushrooms.
Dad is seated at... There's a
Okay. Alright, let's finish dressing the mannequin.
They seem the right size. I don't think there was much variety of measurements on a pirate ship. It's starting to look like a member of the crew. A classy touch. The hat makes it look more important. I don't need to move it. It's Jimbo, but it's still missing something to be credible.
Still missing something.
It has lots of use. It has lots of use. I can't take them. I can't take it. I can't reach it. I don't need it here.
Alright, we're missing something.
What's happening now? I hope it's something important.
I'll need the key to access the hold.
You still aren't an official member of the crew. You must earn this honor. Every new member must get to know the ship and gain the trust of the rest of the crew.
I think I already saw everything and talked with everyone.
Let's see if this is true of you. Answer these 3 simple questions. First, name at least one member of the crew, except the captain, that you met on board.
Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Second question, according to which code have the rules of life on board been drafted?
Surely the Atlantic Codex by Leonardo.
Third and last question, how many battles have we faced until today?
8.
8.
I'm sorry. You're not ready yet. The answers are all...
Sorry.
Good.
It doesn't strike me as... These are books on dressmaking. Evidently, Kid cared about being up to date on... Or some guest left them during his holiday on the adventure Don Quixote de la Mancha. It's one of the first editions. Life on the Seas, Rules and Tasks on Board a Ship, by William Kidd. It seems Kidd was writing a treatise. Interesting.
It's gotta be it.
They look like nautical charts. Probably...
Let's try again.
I'll
Use every new map.
I think...
Let's first.
Jimbo.
Second.
Life on the Seas.
Life on the...
Third and last question.
And it was 8.
8.
Well done. You have the honor of becoming one of Kidd's pirates. Among us, there's a pact of mutual friendship and loyalty. You deserve the key to access the hold.
That was easy.
Thanks, Captain. I'm honored to be part of your crew. Sorry.
Good. Go.
Alright, down to the hold. I'm feeling the last piece of whatever we need to dress up the mannequin will be down
Perfect.
here.
Wow! The legends were true. This is the result of years of piracy in all the seas of the world.
It's a lot of treasure.
It surely contained some spices. They were very precious goods. I don't need it now. They were worth a lot of money on the European market. They all have to be dated, and even if I'd like to dive into it, like in the comic books. I'm not interested in taking these coffee beans. I'm already wide awake, especially after finding my dad. The temptation to examine or take some of those coins is strong, but Dad takes precedence over everything. First, I have to take care of him, and then together we'll study the galley and its treasure.
No, fill up your bag now, because I have a feeling when we have to shoot that cannon, it's going to sink the ship.
It's a mask. It doesn't seem to come from the Americas. I think it's the loot plundered from the assault on some ship coming from Europe.
Alright, that'll be it. It's great, it's the last thing to look
They
at.
will surely be full of doubloons or jewels, but now I have other priorities.
Okay. I think we're pretty close here. This should be the last thing for the pirate.
This gives it an aura of mystery.
Okay.
What's happening now? I hope it's something important.
Captain, can you tell me your story?
Is this the reason you embarked?
I hoped to understand how you ended up here, Dad.
I have no time to get angry now. Go back to your duties. You can hear my story from the other members of the crew.
Alright.
Captain, there's Morgan on the bridge.
Morgan. Damn scoundrel.
That's not the bridge.
You finally came back for the
That's the
final
deck.
showdown.
The bridge is up top where the wheel is.
It's really you, foul traitor. What nerve you dare show. By returning to the ship you turned your back on after it welcomed you as a child. Prepare yourself to face my wrath.
While Dad is busy, I can access the captain's cabin.
Your time...
These are the nautical charts of the galley. They will be worth a fortune. With these, it would be possible to retrace the ship's routes and identify the places it visited. I can't deal with this right now. It's more urgent that I find a way to get out of here with Dad. Dad has placed the logbook to protect the chalice's contents. Since I'm here, I better take them both. The same acrid smell of the mushrooms I saw in the cave emanates from the chalice. This could explain many things. Dad managed to survive all these years on a mixture of water and mushrooms. Even in small quantities, they sustain any organism that feeds on them and provide vital energy. On the other hand, they're also a powerful hallucinogen. Dad's state of shock following his fall from the cliffs, combined with the sight of Kid's ship, made him believe that he was the captain. If he keeps drinking from this chalice, he might never wake up. I have to get rid of this chalice. Professor Jones taught us that a strong adrenaline rush will counteract the mushroom's effect. First the chalice and then the adrenaline. One thing at a time.
Okay.
It's the statue of a dragon. It was also Kid's nickname. Other than Scourge of the Seas, he was known as the Sea Dragon for the firepower of his cannons. Better leave it where it is. I don't need it to get Dad out of here.
Alright, so we gotta figure out somewhere to dump the chalice.
It's time to end the game. Don't show your face again, Morgan.
Look who's back. Henry and his kid, the young Morgan.
How did you manage to get here, Steve?
It wasn't difficult. I was looking for you all over town, and suddenly, what a stroke of luck. I saw you entering the crypt in the graveyard. I waited for you a long time. Eventually, I decided to enter and I saw the tunnel. Henry, I didn't think you were still alive. I am partly relieved. My regret was consuming me. In the end, you were right. Kid's ship was docked here in Bone Town.
How dare you come aboard my ship without permission and offend a member of my crew? Who are you?
Henry, don't you recognize me? It's me.
Dad! Captain! It's Blackbeard. He was also able to get on board.
Blackbeard. Yes, I recognize you now. I see that you and Morgan are still inseparable. You'll end up just like him.
Henry, not again.
You leave me no choice.
I understand, Henry. I'm ready.
Let's see what you can do.
On guard!
I can't let you go.
Nobody wants to escape.
I have to get rid of it so that the mushroom...
This time you won't get away.
I have to get rid of...
See if you can handle me.
Where can I get rid of it?
It's not a good idea. The mushroom spores would grow on the ship's coating.
On guard.
Whatever you
Can
want.
Okay, I can leave the ship. Go back here. Dump the chalice out on the pile of mushrooms that's already there. Natural well.
That's not a good idea. It could resurface in the vicinity of the ship. I have to find a way to get rid of it permanently. I have to get rid of it.
Who cares?
I don't want to go back now. It has lots... I can't use...
Let's see what you can do.
On guard!
I can't let you go.
Nobody wants to escape.
I can't use this cannon to get rid of the chalice. It hasn't got a whip.
I was born.
So we gotta shoot it out of the cannon? Is that what we're doing?
It should work. It's not a cannonball, so it won't have such a devastating effect. And now the coup de grace. Fire!
That's a little ridiculous. Do we have to destroy the chalice instead of just getting rid of the... Okay.
I did it! Heck, I didn't see that coming. The racket from the cannon was more devastating than the shell itself. Better go back on deck and alert Dad.
You don't stand a chance this time.
We'll see. I admit it. You defeated me, Henry.
A victory over a man who was once a friend has no value for me.
Captain, I'm sorry to interrupt your duel, but I think we need to go. The cave is collapsing.
Captain, what are you talking about?
The adrenaline caused by the duels with Jimbo and Steve is reducing the effect of the mushrooms. Hurry, let's go. There's not much time.
Not before seeing the treasure. I've never been so close to it, and I have no intention of leaving now.
But Steve, not now. There will be other opportunities in the future.
Yes, Steve. The kid's right. Let's run while we still can.
Henry, do you recognize me?
Steve, is that you? Oh, I'm not sure what's happening. It feels like I just Woke up from a long dream.
There's no time, Dad. Let's go.
Dad? How come? Who?
You go! I want Kid's treasure. It represents my whole life's work. Henry, just know that I didn't want any of this to happen.
Steve!
Farewell.
Dad, let's go.
Okay, I'll follow.
So the cave is going to collapse with the treasure under it. Oh, so they know where it is, they can just come back and excavate it.
Dad, I finally found you.
Willy, is that really you? How long has it been?
10 years, Dad. 10 very long years.
10 years. So this means you received my letter.
Yes, but why did you only have it delivered after all this time?
I sensed that something was wrong with Steve. I could see it in his behavior. When I realized that the search for Kid's treasure was becoming an obsession, I started to suspect that he could hurt our family. I hid my piece of the map and decided to deal with it. You are a Morgan. You have the spirit of adventure in your blood. But you were only 5, and I didn't want to trouble Mom with such a burden. I hoped that in 10 years Steve's obsession would vanish. I decided that if anything ever happened to me, you, after turning the necessary age, would be ready to pick up from where I left off. So I sent the post-dated letter.
I read Steve's diary. I know you fell off the cliff. How did you survive?
A stroke of luck. I fell right into the sea, and the tide pushed me toward an underwater passage that led directly to the cave. I wanted to find a way to get back to the surface, but I had to recover my strength first. The last thing I remember is some really delightful mushrooms. Then, it's all a blank.
Dad, let's go back home. We have a lot of things to talk about. Plus, we have to find a way to tell Mom without making her faint.
Elizabeth. Yes, we should go back.
Ready to leave Bonetown once and for all?
Bonetown is not a bad town. As soon as the legal formalities are arranged, we could think about coming back here. Remember, deep inside the cave is still the adventure Galley. Who knows how much it can still tell the world about the golden age of piracy.
Speaking of which, when I took the chalice, I also brought the ship's logbook with me. Here it is.
You didn't take any of the gold. Knights of the Sea. Alright, we finished the game. Okay. Willy Morgan and the Curse of Bonetown. Pretty good adventure overall, I think. The dialogue and the voice acting could have been a little bit better, but I think all in all, it was pretty good. It was a fairly well written story. I love the pirate theme because, you know, Monkey Island and things like that. But yeah, most of the puzzles were fairly sensible. I don't know about the fortune cookie thing. That was kind of stupid, in my opinion. Everything else was pretty good, but that one particular puzzle, the chosen one that can eat the fortune cookie or whatever, the rest of the game was very good, though, I think. Was not expecting the twist at the end, with the dad still being alive, sustained on the mushrooms. But pretty relatively satisfying conclusion. It almost kind of feels a little bit like the Goonies to me, where they find the ship in the cave, the treasure at the end of the adventure. Yeah. I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit more before I figure out where it's gonna end up in the the ranking for the games this year, but it's probably gonna be somewhere in the upper middle of the road. I definitely enjoyed it. I liked the animation for the most part. The artwork was good. The music was pretty good. Not outstanding, but pretty good. Said some of the dialogue could have, it was fine. Most of the puzzles were good, so yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on this most recent adventure, and we're going to wrap it up here now, and then not sure if we're going to fill the short adventure game Wednesday slot with another quick one, or we might just slot Rosewater into that one until we finish Sam and Max Save the World. I wasn't really planning on playing two big adventure games like that at the same time, but when it released out of nowhere, and at least I wasn't paying attention to the release date, and I really wanted to play an adventure game when it came out, so I decided to pick that one up. So I might just slot that one into the Wednesday slot until we finish that before we pick up another short adventure game. Then again, I don't actually know how long Rosewater is, so it may very well be a short game, but by the time you see this, there'll probably be 2 or 3 episodes of Rosewater that have gone up on other days anyway. But so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and have a nice day.